It says Ghost _Night 17 is learning to code a useful skill.
And then the post is waiting for.
Well, the moderator's hasn't approved it yet, but somehow we're still seeing it.
We can just answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Let's move on. No, seriously, no. Absolutely, it's a useful skill. It's a useful skill for a variety of reasons. I mean, first off, don't ring the bell. They asked. I didn't start this comment. Right. The number one, learning to code it will open up your mind to a variety of logic, right? Because when you're coding, people that don't code don't understand. There is a set of logical puzzles that you're solving. Realistically, is what you're doing.
It's the same question as, is it worth it to learn math?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, this is more extensive than that. But I think coding should be a base skill that we bring into schools at this point in time, because it just teaches you so many different things, right? Like, I remember when I coded my first game, right? And I'm reading this book, and they're like, oh, here are the different commands you have to put in and why they have to go in. And it just made me look at things from a different perspective.
It does.
Right? Probably one of the best things I ever did. And like, this is back in Commodore age, right? Like,
I know, I was
Atari.
There. Yeah.
The very first computer that I programmed anything on was a BASF.
Wow. Commodore 64 for me.
But yeah, the skill set, I shouldn't say necessarily the skill set. It's more the thought process.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's the thought process. It changes the way you think slightly. And it helps. It's really good.
Yes. It turns you more analytical, and I think it helps you problem solve better.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't assume where the problem is, right? Like, you have to go backwards and work your way through it to find where the problem is.
Yeah.
Right. So
years ago, this guy that I worked with, his name was Steve. He was a developer for many years longer than I was. And I love the way he described it. He described it as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? He said, if you're going to learn to code, and this is what he would do with like new coders. Okay, describe to me what it takes to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And inevitably they would say, well, you get some bread, peanut butter and jelly. He goes, nope, that's not it. He goes, well, where do you get the bread from? Well, you get it from the cabinet. Okay, well, how do you get to the cabinet? Well, you got to walk over to it. How do you open the cabinet? And he's like, that's the problem. You walk over to the cabinet, open the door, put your hand out, open the door, right? Look for the peanut butter, look for the bread, pull the bread out, open take the thing off the top of the bread, open the bread, pull the pieces of bread out, put them on a plate, go over, find the peanut butter, unscrew the peanut butter jar, find the knife, et cetera, et cetera.
Make sure bread not moldy.
Make sure bread not, if moldy, throw away. Right? Like, or get new bread, right? So, I mean, that's what coding is. Coding, okay, and another friend of mine, Ken, always says, computers have an IQ of exactly 0. They have no IQ whatsoever. They will only do what you tell them to do.
Yes.
And that's what coding is. Coding is telling a computer step by step, and I literally mean step by step, what to do. It doesn't know any better otherwise, right? So that's why it's such a great skill, because you learn how to break everyday problems down to their minuscule tasks, one step at a time to fix that problem. And that's what I was saying earlier about it being logic problems. You learn how to problem solve better than anything else in the world will teach you.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's such a useful skill.
It was funny because when I was working with the developers, my question was always to them, what happens when it fails?
Right.
And they go, what do you mean? It's just supposed to work. I'm like, I get that.
I know it's supposed to.
It's supposed to, right? But what happens if it fails?
Right.
If a customer is in the middle of booking their dream vacation and it fails at the rental car page, then what? And they go, what do you mean, then what? It's not supposed to fail.
Right.
I know it's not supposed to, right? But what happens if, right? And if it's one thing I learned over time is that developers do not like if statements.
No. Well, I mean, we love if statements, but...
but they hate it when it's...
nested.
Correct.
Yeah.
If goes wrong,
right.
then what, right? But it was very interesting for me because I understood the basics of coding. And my question was always the when it breaks part.
Right.
Like I need a fail safe in every step of the process because like in our industry, if I lose you off a website and you don't complete the checkout process,
Right.
like
What happens?
I've lost you, right? You've now moved on to something else. So like I need to make sure that even if it fails, do we have an email that goes to the customer immediately? Do we save it? Do we auto save their trip every 2 seconds,
Right.
right? Like so that we just recognize their IP when they come back in, the trip's already at the point. Like
Yep.
it was all those things. But a lot of the guys that I was working with, the developers, weren't thinking of those things. They were just thinking of how do I get this process to complete 100%
Right.
every time? Okay. So let's assume it's a 98% success rate, right? Which is
that's good.
It's pretty good,
Yeah.
right? I worried about those other 2% because those 2% we don't it's like the stock market, right? What's the saying? If you would have lost out on the 10 best trading days,
Right.
like you would have lost money instead of made money in the
Yeah.
market, right? Like it's some ridiculous stat. And it's the same thing. Like we don't know if those 2% were the $40,000 trips they were booking instead of the $400 flights.
Right.
Right. So like we need to secure those 2%. We can't lose those trading days.
So here's the bigger well, this is one of the things in software that non-software people don't understand. I know you understand it, but most people that are not in software don't understand. There is no such thing as a developer in software,
No.
right? Let's say you want to hire a developer to build your website. Okay, you get a single developer. Okay, great. They go and they build your website. Well, what's that website sitting on? Well, it's sitting on a hosting platform somewhere. Well, who built that?
Yep.
Right. Well, this company built it. Well, who built the operating system behind it? Right. Who built the network connectivity between the computer and the internet? Right. And who built this and who? There are so many different levels of software along the way.
Yep.
Any one of them
can
fail
Yep.
at any time and has nothing to do with your software developer.
It's one of those things that, like, I get asked a lot, who owns the website?
Right.
And I go, well, you own it, but we host it. And they're like, can I move it at any time? And I'm like, yes, you can move it. I can't guarantee that it'll work because, like, if they're not running Redis or if they're running a different cache
different
software,
OS or something like that, don't have the database set up properly.
You can't just, go get some AWS space and dump it on there. You're going to need something to run it on.
Yep.
Right? You can't take it to a Windows platform, right? Like, so who owns it? You do, but it's needs to be transferred to something that that'll work, right? And that has nothing to do with the website itself. It has to do with all the underlying software that is behind the website, right?
And people don't recognize that. And I understand because they haven't coded before. They don't get it.
Do you know how often someone does a plugin update and it makes a different plugin fail?
Everything shuts down.
And you're like, what the hell?
How many times? WordPress is a perfect example of this. WordPress, look, for all the people that talk bad on WordPress, as a developer, sometimes it has its issues. I get it, but WordPress is a great starting point for developers. The problem is when WordPress updates. 90% of things shut down sometimes. So you'll have plugins that aren't compatible with the new version. The whole site just shuts down.
Even worse, when PHP updates. Like, what was it?
Yeah.
Was it from 5 to 6? I mean, it took a while.
There was one major update that just everybody, because what they did was they deprecated they deprecated the functions in the previous version, and then they removed, meaning that they had new functions that would overwrite, but they kept the old ones. And then in a major switch to a new, I think it was 6 to 7, they did this. I could be wrong. They removed the functions entirely, and thousands and thousands of PHP sites started going down.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
We lost,
those functions were gone.
I think we lost 70 sites that we had to like scramble to get back up and functioning. And it was bad.
I know.
But once again, it was nothing we did.
Nothing you did, right? No. So anyway, Ghost Knight, Ghost Knight 1.7. Yes, coding is a useful skill.
Yeah.
not so much that you're going to be a coder. Man, maybe you will. Congratulations, that'd be great. But not so much that, hey, I'm going to be a coder, I'm going to make money off of it. But I promise you, it will change the way you look at the world. It really will, because you will learn problem solving skills that you can't learn anywhere else.
There's a lot of skills that, like, I think everybody should learn basic woodworking too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Right? I love it.
I think people should learn the basics of electricity. Like, even if it's just being able to swap out an outlet, right? Because it makes you realize that how things function around your house, right?
Yeah, it's very true. It's funny because I see younger people, people in like their 20s and early 30s that weren't taught how to do things like that, and they look at these things like they're magical.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, yeah, just unscrew it, plug in new power, and boom, done. But they've never done it before, and they're
so my uncle, well, he's not my uncle, he's my aunt's husband.
Yeah.
Right? Is one of the leading Oracle database specialists on the planet.
Very cool.
Right? Like he's the guy they call when the experts can't figure it out.
Okay.
Right? Like he's that guy.
That's
right?
cool.
He can't hang a picture on the wall. Like, I kid you not,
not
right?
Straight anyway, right?
No, not straight. He can't swing a hammer. He can't. And it was funny because him and some family members, they bought a cabin, right? So it was time to do some work on the cabin. So his brother's a carpenter. They're basically all tradesmen except him.
Yeah.
So he goes, yep, no, I'm going with them to work on this. And I'm like, what is your job going to be? And he goes, cooking, sweeping, and cleaning up. And he's like, and I know it going in there, right? There's no computers there, so they don't need my skill set other than that, right? But he'll tell you flat out, like, he doesn't know how to use a drill. He doesn't use any of that stuff. But yeah, dude, if it's Oracle related or programming related,
he's got it. He's the man.
He's the man.
That's funny.
I remember the story he told me once. He was in Denmark at a conference. And I think it was the Danish hospital system.
Yeah.
Right. So they stop the conference and a guy comes out and says, is there anybody here that knows DOS? And then they named like 2 other things, right? And there were 2 people in the entire audience that raised their hand.
DOS. Wow.
Him and his old teacher.
Wow.
But yeah, he started in DOS. Like he started, this is like early 90s.
Yeah.
And he went through all of it, right? Like, so he was familiar with all of it. But in a room of like 700 programmers, there were 2 people. And he was one of them.
That's
right?
crazy.
Like, it's insane.
It's crazy that there were only 2 people to me. Because I mean, I used DOS for years.
It is, but it was because
DOS, Unix. I mean, I used all those things.
It had
for
something
years.
to do with the other 2 that they needed to be familiar with as well, because they were going through a transition into a new system. So part of it was running on an old system, part of it was running in a new, like, and yeah. If you found this clip interesting, make sure to go listen to the full podcast. There's lots more content there.